episode of the NRW Checkpoint. I'm your boy WebsterStyle, along with my man Brian Sapph. Brian, how you doing today?
I'm all right. You
All right.
know,
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Well, let's start off with first things first. And this is something I read that I thought was very interesting, especially leading into our second story today. It's something we've been talking about for a while. So we've talked about Game Pass. We've talked about games coming into Game Pass, and we're talking about big AAA games. And I read a report the other day that talked about Microsoft supposedly paying 3 to 5 million to get Guardians of the Galaxy into Game Pass. Now, I saw that and I said, that's money well spent, in my opinion. Money well spent. But if this is what Microsoft is doing to get these AAA games, especially you think about what Avengers has been in there 3-4 months now. Usually the time frame 6 to 8 months. These AAA games are staying in, if not longer. I mean, the Yakuza series, most of that's been in there for almost a year now. If that's all they're paying, that's pennies on the dollar for sort of return they're getting. What you think?
Yeah. I mean, this is Microsoft's attempt to, keep up with the demand of the gamer, I guess. We talked about this last week about like the influx of RPGs coming out now. I don't know if this is a good decision, because then it kind of sets a precedent for them to keep doing that. I don't know if they want to keep shelling out money for pretty much to get PlayStation exclusives to be on Game Pass or whatever, but for the consumer, that's a good move. I like it anyway.
But you gotta remember, Microsoft has deep pockets.
They do. That's what I'm saying.
Deep. This is nothing. This is money they wipe their butt with. $35 million.
Yeah. We said 35.
No, 3 to 5.
Oh, 3 to 5, man. Oh, that's chump change.
Exactly. Exactly. That's nothing. That's like pennies on a dollar for the return they're getting just from keeping subscribers and getting new subscribers.
Right. And well, yes. Okay, so now that I understand the actual value, yeah, that's a good move. It's easy for them to do. I guess the only thing that I would be, if I was Windows anyway, or Microsoft, only thing I would be looking at is, like you said, the return on these games, because Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't have any transactional microtransactions or anything. Right. So you paying that 3 to 5, your people gonna play it, and then once the story is done, it's pretty much it. Because at this point in time, there's no DLC or anything to add to the actual gameplay. But I mean, for the consumer, good job. I'm cool with them making a sacrifice of spending any kind of money just to make sure gaming fans can continue the game.
Right. I agree with you, but this is the one thing I'll bring to you. Okay. Last week they put out a whole bunch of numbers as far as what people do on Game Pass and the service, and they showed that there's a pretty good conversion rate of people being on the service than people actually purchasing games.
Oh, okay.
So I can definitely see that people will play this game and then purchase this game based on playing on the Game Pass. So Square Enix got money, and then they get money on top of the money, because people are actually going to, even if it's 25 million people that are subscribed to Game Pass, even if 10% of them end up buying that game, that's 2.5 million games sold just off of being in Game Pass by itself at a slight discount, and then they got a couple $1 million on top of that from Microsoft.
Right.
I mean, I think, it's a win-win for everybody.
It is. I was just getting ready to say that. It's pretty much a W around the board.
Right.
I think, I guess Microsoft will probably be getting the short end of the stick, but then it's not even really that short, because all these millions of people, if they buy this game,
and Microsoft's going to cut it at too.
You're right. And then what's the retail price for it?
I believe it's been on sale a lot. I think it's down to $49.99. Okay, I'm not sure. Not $39.99.
Yeah, that's still not bad, especially if I'm not mistaken. Guardians of the Galaxy won Game of the Year. They won a bunch of awards at.
I think it was Narrative Story of the Year, something like that.
Yeah, they won some awards at the Video Game Awards or whatever. So I know Xbox fans, they've been eager to play it since seeing it. So
I
that's good.
haven't gotten a chance myself. Just I couldn't get anything too heavy lately.
No, you know what?
So,
I think you'll like it.
I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it. I want to. I haven't had time to sit around and just since I've been playing new Super Lucky's Tale, which is not new anymore, but it's a lighthearted 3D platformer, and I'm just trying to get achievements and have something I can pick up, play, and move on from. And that's like been a perfect game for me for the past week.
That
And
makes sense.
speaking of subscription services, Sony finally announced the worst kept secret in gaming with their new tiers of PlayStation Plus. So we have PlayStation Essential, which is essentially what PlayStation Plus was, $9 a month. And this is the one thing I'll say about PlayStation that they have over Xbox or Microsoft. They offer a yearly price, which is something that Microsoft has done away with, which I really hate with a passion.
Why they did that to y'all?
I don't. They did that with Game Pass. They did when they instituted Game Pass. They did away with that. Xbox Live Gold you could buy for a year. With Game Pass, you can only buy it in 3-month increments, which really sucks. But that's another conversation for another day. So with the PlayStation Plus Essential tier, which is $9.99 a month or $6 for a year, it's basically PlayStation Plus. Online multiplayer, cloud storage, 2 free games, and then exclusive discounts. So this is my problem with that one.
What's up?
And you have to pay for cloud storage.
Okay, so in the sense of like having, it's weird because yes and no, right? So what they're referring to, I'll say it like that. What they're referring to when they talk about the cloud storage is like, because I do this quite often actually. They'll put the free games on the PlayStation Plus, whatever, the 2 free games, and then you could download them to your PlayStation Plus account without having to physically download them to your hard drive. So it's cloud storage, but it's not necessarily like, oh, this is like extra storage on. It's more like a way to save the game and then come back later and fully download it to your system and play it.
Okay. No, we're talking about just like your cloud save as far as like your save data for your game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Oh, no, not aware.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, you got to pay for that. That sucks.
I never had to pay for it. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's for those games that you only, because I do see that they have this like streaming tagline now with, this, you could do this price and you get streaming and stuff like that. Maybe that's for that particular thing, but that's never been a thing with PlayStation Plus.
We'll see, but that's what they have in their official site. So, all right. Next up, we have PlayStation Plus Extra, and that gives 400 PS5 and PS4 games to download in addition to what we have already. So that's $15 a month, $40 for 3 months, or $100 a year. It's cool, and it talks about things like Death Stranding, God of War, old stuff, Spider-Man Miles Morales, like older stuff's going to be there.
There's a little cheat code in this one.
So it's cool. I think it's great, especially $15 a month. That's a really good price, $100 a year, just to have that library of PlayStation games, and it's stuff that's already there as well. That's awesome. And then you have premium, which is going to be $17.99 a month, $50 for 3 months, or $120 for the year. And that also adds classic gaming, PS3, 1, 2, PSP games to stream or download, realistically stream, and limited game trials that are also available right now. So this is what I take on this. I think equating this to Xbox Game Pass is false.
Why say
this?
That?
Because this is more like Nintendo service with
Online.
Yeah, Nintendo Online. It's like a combination between the two, because with their premium tier, you have those old school games that you cannot buy again, and you can only play by subscribing to this service on your system.
That makes sense.
Much like Nintendo, whereas Xbox, if it's backwards compatible, it's backwards compatible.
Right.
If it's not digitally, you can still get a disc and put it in, and there's no paywall for that. So I think that's why I say I don't think comparing this to Game Pass is exactly right. It takes some elements from Game Pass, some elements from what Nintendo does, and kind of mix the two together. Also, there's no day one exclusives, and we don't know what kind of third-party support that this is going to get. Because right now, realistically, it doesn't make any mention of third parties, like third-party day one releases. Now, we had Shadow Warrior 3, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, but overall, I can't see Sony pony up money like Microsoft's doing, because this feels like it's more just a consolidation of what they have, and that have something there to say, hey, we compete. Time will tell.
Yes,
but I don't see Sony being as aggressive with this as Microsoft is with Game Pass. That's my thing. Unless they start dropping things like 3 months after they come out, to really give an incentive, I don't see the earnest like game or PlayStation Plus. This is it. This is what we're doing. And also, and this is in what I was reading, you have streaming to PC as well, with the premium tier. So again, you can play these games on your PC, and I think you could do it already if you have a system, have it on your PlayStation 4 or 5 already. It does PC streaming, but not from the cloud, which is awesome. So this is my thing. This is why I say they're all fruits, but they're different fruit.
Right.
So you have Nintendo with their system and with $20 a year, and then you add on the new expansion pack is another $40 a year. So you're paying like $70 a year, something like that, for all of that online, all that good stuff. Xbox for Ultimate, I'm only going highest tier. Ultimate is $14.99 a month. I forget what that works out to a yearly basis, but you get Xbox, you get Game Pass for Xbox, Game Pass for PC with that, as well as cloud streaming to PC and mobile and any sort of tablet device, as well as you got your 4 free games. And then you have PlayStation Plus Premium, which offers that back catalog of games in addition to PS4, PS5 titles, and that cloud streaming to PC. So like I said, there's similarities between the three, but then also I forget Xbox day one release of all of that. And that is going to be really big as we go forward. And in the next couple of years with all those studios, we're going to get games dropping every quarter.
Right.
And that's where it's really going to pay off in that regard. So I can't say I am glad that Sony got their act together. I'll put it that way. They have one consolidated service, and that's one thing. I actually thought they might have thrown in Crunchyroll into this as well. That would have been amazing.
And that's what I was thinking when you was talking about this.
that would have made a sweet incentive for them as well to make them different from everybody else. But I think the price is right. Yep, they could. I think it's too new for that merger. I think they're still merging everything between Crunchyroll and Funimation. So it may be something to come down the pipe, maybe an extra tier. Oh, also with Xbox, I forgot, with Ultimate, you also get EA Play. EA Play. So I even forget it. So there are a lot of different things there for the gamers. And I think, just like you said, this is really about the gamers. I don't care what's what. If I had a PlayStation, I would subscribe simply to have access to all of these games to play. I think it is absolutely great. I'm glad that it's a consistent price. One of my biggest issues with Nintendo is that they had their set price, and then, we have an expansion pack you got to pay another $40 for. I'm like, what?
Which I love Nintendo, but the level of gaming over on Nintendo is not on par for extra $40.
I agree. I'm not a big N64 person in all those games. Even Genesis, I'm like, dude, I got my Genesis Mini here. I'm fine. I'm cool. Like straight up. Like the $20 for the year, or whatever it was for Nintendo stuff, the 8-bit stuff, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's absolutely all the other stuff. I personally, as a gamer, in my experience, I could care less. And the only thing I'm looking forward to eventually when it comes out, if the rumors are true, is GoldenEye, and that's going to be an Xbox too. So,
Yeah. Nintendo, they like Apple. They like, we don't care. This is what we decided we wanted to do. You either buy it or you don't. There's plenty of other options. I don't know. For them, they've never been necessarily in the race as far as like Xbox and PlayStation are concerned. They've always been in their own little bubble, just kind of keeping up, just to keep up with the times. But in terms of developing their own stuff, it's always been Nintendo doing whatever they want to do. As far as the PlayStation Plus, whatever the fuck they gonna call it, because I don't know if the PlayStation Plus thing will stick around once these tiers get to rolling out. But this, like you said, the original PlayStation Plus is the bottom tier, and then this middle tier, because I'm peeping what they're doing. Like, they already give you like a crazy amount of discounts, and they have sales like every month. Like right now, the March Madness sale is going on in the PlayStation Store. Everything is 50 to 75% off or something crazy like that for select titles. So I feel like the second tier, they just adding in all of those games that they would normally discount throughout the year, just giving it to you for free. And then the bottom, with a top tier, is more of a PlayStation Now is included in that. Well, the catalog from PlayStation Now anyway. That's where your streaming would come in, because PlayStation Now, you can't, if I'm not mistaken, you can't download any of those games except for like the 2 free titles that they give you every year or every month that are like specific to whatever games they want to put out. But I probably I'm gonna stay with my regular PlayStation thing for now, just to see what ends up coming of it, because like you said, they haven't mentioned anything about like day one releases on the premium like top tier thing or whatever, and that's what I'm here for. Like,
exactly. It would be interesting to see what they do with that, because I will only see them doing it for the premium to make it worthwhile. I can't see them doing it for the extra.
Now, I will say there is something to be said about them doing this like right now. And what is this, March? About to be April.
It's supposed to come out in June.
June, we have, I don't know what month is June. We got a couple more months, leading into the holiday season after June or whatever. I feel like by that time they will have worked something out to where they could package a Crunchyroll with it, because right now, like, I have a Funimation account. I never did the Crunchyroll thing, but they're giving you a 60-day free trial for the brand new like merger Crunchyroll Funimation thing. Once that runs out, or whatever the case might be, once everybody utilizes that, I can see them packaging it with one of these tiers, maybe the higher tier.
I can see them definitely giving you like a 30 or 60-day sort of thing. I mean, one of the I had 3 months free through Game Pass perks, so definitely.
But it's very, like you mentioned, the pricing tier or whatever, that's very beneficial for us, right? Because I'm on a yearly plan or whatever. They do that thing where, if you pay for a whole year, you get 30% off the price, whatever. So I'm like, cool. But it's beneficial for them to tier it like that, because it's like, okay, let me figure out which one I want. Do I want the extra games with the essential, or am I gonna like do the whole thing with the premium shit and get everything? But only time will tell, because I don't know how that's gonna work, because my subscription just renewed over the holiday season. So I'm wondering like how the transition is going to be, like if I decide to go up.
And I think that's one of the questions that I heard when I saw it. And it was weird. They really just kind of released information unceremoniously. Like, you could have done this when you did a State of Play, last week before. Like, come on now. This is like, this is anything you should have held closer to chest, closer to the chest, or closer to the rest, what the term is. But they like, it was just, I woke up this morning, it's literally like, I'm getting ready and like, news is coming out. No press release, no event. I'm like, man, that right there tells me that it's like an afterthought, because Microsoft never, if there's a big thing for Game Pass, they make a big deal about it. And I think, and that's why I get that impression from it. It seems like if a company cares about it, was big for them, they make a big deal. Even like Nintendo with the bonus expansion pack, that was one of their Treehouse events. It wasn't just a news dump.
Right.
of in the middle of the morning.
Right.
Come on now.
I don't know. We'll see. I feel like they're gonna make mention of it at the next state of play, which have also been kind of erratic this year.
Right.
Like we got that one earlier where we talked about the trailers and stuff, and then oh yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is getting its own state of play, and like I mean, they've done that before, but it's never been like this, like within 2 weeks of each other. That's weird, but I feel like they'll make mention of it at the next state of play, because what people are not like necessarily thinking about when it's like comes to reading this news, PlayStation VR 2 is also on the horizon.
Right.
They haven't discussed how that fits into any of the PlayStation tier, plus plans or whatever the case might be, and what that's going to be about, how all of that's going to gel together. So I mean, I do agree with you. This like random press dump, like in the middle of the week. It's Tuesday. Like when does you just dropping this news? But at the same time, state of play, they have the opportunity to discuss it, and then they have more things to announce. So
yeah, we'll
this
see.
might just be like, oh, this is a small piece compared to what else we got to talk about. What else is coming up? So.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be very interested in how this evolves and how PlayStation really what they put behind this, because right now their start sucks.
Yes,
the start really sucks.
I agree, because I'm looking at it like I don't have time to play 400 extra games or 700 with the premium tier, whatever.
Right.
I was looking specifically for, are they going to let me play new games and then decide if I want to buy them? Like that's what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
More studios in talks to be purchased by Sony, and more hardware coming out. I don't know. Sony is at a full steam ahead right now.
I think everybody is. You know what? This is going to be an interesting year in E3, and that E3 season is right around the corner.
It is.
So speaking of which, it was weird. It's kind of a light week. We've been jam-packed with blockbuster after blockbuster.
That's why it's light.
Yeah, this week is kind of light. First up, we have Crusader Kings 3, and this is just next gen, PS5, Xbox Series systems, and PC as a strategy game. And surprisingly is actually a day one release on Xbox Game Pass, PC and console, from what I understand. So it'll be interesting. I'm also interested to see if you can play it via the cloud on your Xbox One, because we can do that with Flight Simulator now, which is, I love that aspect about Xbox, where they are people like me who are not purchasing a Series X or S anytime soon can still play next gen games via the cloud. I think it's beautiful.
That is dope.
So that's a strategy game, medieval times. We're watching a trailer for that later. But what more can you really say about that? Crusader Kings. It's Kings, medieval times, strategy.
Right. And it's on 3. And it's the first time I'm hearing about this game. So
well, we aren't the clientele for it, obviously.
Right. Right. I don't know. Well, let's see what the trailer says, because if this is a turn-based strategy game, I probably should have been on it.
Right. So next up is WRC 10, and that's releasing for the Switch. And this is a racing game. It actually came out back on the Xbox and PlayStation back in September. Racing game, simulator. It's more of an arcadey racing game. It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks for Switch.
Next up is Aerial Knights Never Yield, and this is coming out for Android and iOS. It's a platforming game. It came out on the other consoles May of last year. It was actually a Xbox Game with Gold, I think last month. If I downloaded it, I hadn't played it yet, but it's there. So it's, again, looked interesting. Hadn't played it yet. Whenever I do, I'll let you guys know what I think of it.
Please do. Do we have a trailer for that?
No. I did. It's not a new game since it's been out since last year, so I didn't put in a trailer for it. Okay. Next up this week is Death Stranding Collector's Edition. So the walking simulator has made it to PC. I always find that funny, but like people are like, it's a walking simulator. I'm like,
yeah. Who's walking on PC?
Right. So if you're not familiar with Death Stranding, where have you been? for the past 2 years or so.
Look.
Like Hideo Kojima, Norman Reedus. Hello. Like I said, I don't own a PlayStation, but I'm a gamer, so I know about it. Next up, we talked about PlayStation VR. We have Moss Book 2 for the PlayStation VR, and obviously this is a sequel to Moss that originally came out on the PlayStation VR, and this is an adventure game where you play as a mouse, and we're going to be watching that trailer as well. And then last but not least, we have Weird West, which is releasing for the PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series S and X, and PC. And that is an action game. And that's actually the first trailer we're going to watch today, and that's Weird West.
Cool. Weird West.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's I don't know, it's a weird and Wild West theme. I think it's like isometric sort of.
Thing about the Weird West is it ain't kind. Flesh eaters took your husband.
Okay.
Killed your son cold. Time to dig up them shooting irons. The town. Flesh eaters were here. Time for some persuasion.
What is this for?
For the PlayStations, all of them, and all the Xboxes and the PC.
Or something more resolute.
This is pretty cool.
It does.
An oddity. Something wakes up inside of you. Trail still
I'm
hot.
not like a super fan of
Time to get hunting.
like these over the
But
head.
there are more than 2
camera
ways
angles
to skin a
for
hair.
games. I always
You'll
feel
find
like
yourself
I'm
wearing
missing
different
something.
pairs of boots.
Right.
Can't see.
With different persuasions.
I like how they shift the point of view,
Real
where you get a little bit
quiet-like.
closer and a little further away based
Where you
on
tap into something
what's going
a bit
on.
less
Okay, you can
conventional
turn into a werewolf.
and bring the West to its knees.
Brian, he turned into a werewolf.
Oh, okay. That's quite
Regardless,
weird in the West.
if you want to survive,
Yeah.
Never
you're
been
gonna need
wolves
to
to be in the West.
experiment. Use the land to your advantage. Bend the
Okay,
West
what is
to
that?
your will.
I don't know what that was. So she has like
Or
these
shoot.
supernatural abilities.
Become your own force of nature. And bring the West
This
to
is
its
definitely
knees.
interesting.
Oh wow.
This here, it's just a sampling of what's in store. Your actions. They'll
Gunplay,
inspire tall
magic,
tales.
like
Tales of
Canterbury.
brutality of the occult.
Bows and arrows.
First, when they gather around the
This would
campfire,
be perfect.
they'll
Switch.
speak your name and tremble.
Yeah, it would be actually.
Welcome to the
Digital
Weird
Devolver. We
West.
talked about them before in the games they've been putting out.
Okay.
That's okay. I should have known that they are really good at getting these indie titles and publishing them, and they are just like really out there and unique. So yeah,
All
that
right.
looks interesting. I might
It
definitely
does.
have to try that out.
I definitely will agree with you on that. It's very, very interesting looking that whole wolf transformation thing. Cause so now, see, yeah, this is this is looking interesting. Cause now I'm trying to understand the family. They said in the thing the family was eaten by flesh eaters, right?
Right.
But then this lady is like turning into all kind of wolves and demons and
Right.
making people float with electricity and stuff. So did she do it? Is she the eater of
Right.
the flesh eater? Like,
Good question.
now I'm interested in the story.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It looks interesting. It looks like something definitely hold your attention.
Right.
Next up, we have Moss Book 2.
Because book 1 was before this.
There are those who look into the eyes of another and see
Look like Lord of the Rings for a second.
opportunity,
Right.
a soul to corrupt and twist. Their stories are the ones we fear. And there are those who see potential, the light
I
within
wonder
the
if he
soul,
knows Bible.
a chance to lift someone up to achieve the impossible. Their stories rise to legend. So tell me, what do you see in Quill? Because her story depends on you.
I mean, it looks fun. So I would assume you're playing as Moss and have a mouse's point of view in VR.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Okay.
It looked interesting. I don't own a VR, so I didn't get to play book 1. So congratulations to book 2.
Right, exactly. Apparently it sold well.
Yeah, because they made another one. But it looks interesting. Also, something that I feel like it could have been great on Switch, but I said, never played it. I don't understand how the VR aspect is gonna come into play.
Right.
But it looks cool though.
It does. Now, next up is our last trailer for this episode, and that's Crusader Kings 3. And this is the Xbox announcement trailer, so it's a little Xbox focused.
Starting off with shock value, huh?
My son, we must
IGN gave it a 10 out of 10.
forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed. He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords. Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life.
PlayStation and Xbox, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series systems
is
specifically.
played across generations.
Yeah. Damn it, man.
And PC.
You see, real strategy requires cunning.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's like Game Pass day 1. That's right. So that was that looked cool.
Yeah. That's those are my kind right there.
Okay.
This strategy game reminds me of Civilization.
Okay.
Maybe mixed with some Frostpunk there, because one thing that Frostpunk is an indie title. Maybe some people know, I don't know, but there's an element to the game where it's just, outside of building your, land or whatever the fuck, the city, you have to like decide on certain things as far as the government is concerned and make decisions that can affect your people. Like, that's one thing in the game where it's like, oh, people start getting sick and you have to decide, you're going to amputate limbs or are you just going to let them die from disease? Like, it's one of those like, oh, every choice you make has a positive and negative impact on the people you're trying to lead. So those tend to be pretty interesting as far as, strategy is concerned. So we on 3. Pretty sure people liked 1 and 2.
Right, exactly.
So
you don't get this far without people liking your game.
Right. I think I'm gonna jump in the fray as well. I'm gonna see what they're talking about when it comes to the PlayStation Store. Okay. Maybe by the time when's the release date? Do we know?
It's this week, so probably Thursday. I'm not entirely sure. Damn. But definitely this week.
Okay, well, I'll see about it in the PlayStation Store because I like games like that.
Cool beans. All right, so that's all we have for gaming this week. Like I said, it was a light week. Brian, what's going on with you this week?
Just the Talk+Play. I almost messed it up again. The Talk+Play blerdcast. I'm on there talking about games and music and TV shows and people getting slapped at award shows. This is we're very in tune with the culture on that particular podcast. And then, here, what we doing right now. Gotcha. The NRW checkpoint. That's it for the week.
Gotcha. Well, there's a lot going on this week. Episode 103 of This Is How You Keep So Tuyo and Geek podcast for WebsterStyle will be dropping eventually. We got a lot to cover this week. Moon Knight comes out this week. Definitely
excited.
watch the coverage on the Nerds Rule the World, who have already seen inside information on Moon Knight. So if you're itching or need to get that Moon Knight itch scratch before it comes out at about 3 a.m. Eastern time tonight, definitely head over to the website there and watch their reviews on the channel, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Definitely Moon Knight comes out, Halo, Star Trek Picard, in addition to always talking about fragrances and style and really bow ties, comic books, and everything in between. That's what we're talking about this week.
Good.
So, and of course, you're here watching us, and we are Nerds Rule the World. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the NRW. Follow us on Instagram at New Release Wednesday. And of course, you're on YouTube. So don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe.
Bing bong.